Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
This is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Acheive TMS East, and they're going to explain this to you. They're all over the lot. We were going to say one particular town, but they're very different branches. Margie Pierce, and she is the operations director. She's on my far left. And Dr. Dr Knapp, and she is a psychiatrist. And they brought this, believe it or not, it's a head helmet. And they're going to tell us about Acheive TMS East. Welcome, folks. They had a long trip up here today. Really? Were you all coming in from the western part of the state? All of you?
No, I came from Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. You're over in Thompson.
Yeah.
I wonder whose trip was fastest. Yours?
Yes. I think it took me about an hour.
Yeah. I think it was fastest. All right. So who wants to explain it first to those of us who don't understand it yet? Okay. Oh, and first of all, focus on this, Paul. This is a great sign. It's New Hope for Depression. Tell us about this.
Well, TMS stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation, and it's a cutting-edge treatment for depression that has not responded well to other forms of treatment, medication, therapy.
What about electroshock, people who don't even respond to that?
Well, we think of this as an alternative to electroshock therapy for some people. There are some things that ECT really does better than anything. You know, if you have certain kinds of depression, if you have psychotic symptoms. But for people who have treatment-resistant depression and have not responded to multiple medications or haven't been able to tolerate medications, who might be considering ECT, TMS is a viable option for them now, and has some advantages over ECT in that they don't have to have general anesthesia. They can drive themselves to their treatments. There are fewer side effects. There isn't any memory loss.
And there's a helmet they wear.
Yeah, the treatment is delivered through this helmet.
Now this fits all heads, right? All sizes.
Yeah.
You put it on, and then what happens after that?
So this is connected to a machine that generates an electric field, a magnetic field, that's passed through the part of the brain that we believe is involved in depression, that isn't functioning well when somebody's depressed.
Is it the front part of the brain, or where is it located, this part that...
It's called the left prefrontal cortex. So the cortex is in the front, and the prefrontal cortex is just behind that, on the left side of the brain.
And that reaches it. Does the patient feel anything during it?
Yeah, the patient feels a tapping sensation when the magnetic pulses are sent through. I've had it, I've tried it so that I know what it feels like. You've probably had it as well.
You've tried it too, Marcia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not unpleasant.
It's not unpleasant. I mean, it's not painful. Right. We increase the power of this magnetic field during the course of treatment, and some people need less, some people need more, and in the higher ranges, it can sort of feels like a woodpecker is tapping on the side of your head. So I can't say it's pleasant, but it's not painful. Right.
And definitely you don't have to be put to sleep for it or anything like that.
Right.
How long does it take?
Well, each treatment is about 20 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Which is nice because you're sort of in and out in about a half an hour. We have patients filling out rating scales at some of the visits, so the entire visit might be about a half an hour, but there are multiple treatments, so it's 5 days a week for 6 weeks.
It's almost like going for radiation therapy.
Yeah,
I remember
it's a
that.
Commitment.
Yeah. It's a definitely commitment. Do they come and see you first, and then you evaluate them, and then you recommend it?
Right. So,
all ages, right?
Well, adults. It's FDA approved for adults.
I had never heard of this. It's called TMS, and again, it means, I can't see it up there, what's the,
Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
and how long have you been in business? How long have you been there? I hadn't heard of you until recently.
So we're affiliated with a sister company in California, which is called Acheive TMS, and they've been doing this for several years. We, Acheive TMS East, opened our doors. Initially, our first site was in Northampton, Mass, and that was in January of 2017. We first started treating patients. So we've been open for a little over a year, and we now have 11 sites total throughout Massachusetts.
Including Westboro, Worcester, all over the lot. Now, they're all in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Okay, are you going to branch out? Like we were in Connecticut, are you going to go out that way too?
I suspect
so?
it.
That is
Oh,
our
yeah.
goal,
Yeah.
is to move to other states, definitely Connecticut, other states within New England, and possibly the Northeast.
How did you get the word out in the beginning? Because I say I had never heard of it till I read about it. How'd you get the word out?
Well, we have a great marketing team.
Yeah.
And we say marketing, but it's really education.
Yeah.
So the education is, going out, speaking with primary care doctors, speaking with therapists, psychiatrists, and then also the general public. Because either you're speaking to patients who are dealing with depression, or you're speaking to someone who may have a loved one who is suffering with depression.
Yeah.
And so it's really about educating both providers and the general public, and that's what our focus has really been, because we've found that there's a lot of people who don't know what TMS is.
How about going to the, do you go to the senior centers and let them know too? Beautiful.
We hit everywhere. The VA,
Yeah.
we
VA.
we work with the chambers in the different communities that we're located in.
Yeah.
So we really spend a lot of time and energy getting the word out as to what we're doing, and really bringing hope to both patients and to communities, so that we can make a difference in depression.
Definitely. We have Milford Regional Medical Center right up the street here, 5 minutes up the road? And of course, UMass, Tops in Worcester. Are they aware of this? Okay, good. Okay, so is Milford aware yet of it? Are they aware? Well, if UMass is, I would imagine maybe Milford is. They're kind of tied
Probably.
a little bit together, but I hadn't heard of it. And if somebody wanted to go to the Worcester, would they have to come? They wouldn't have to go to Northampton. They could go to your branch in Worcester, right, or Westboro,
Right.
whatever. Before we go any further, how can people get in touch with you?
So the general way people get in touch with us are either referrals through their providers. Our number is 413-203-6922. We also have a website, www.achievetmseast.com, and people can get in touch with us that way. And so either it can come from providers, or it can come directly from patients. We also are out in social media as well, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter.
Yeah. I have a number of patients that are trying to find out what their options are for
Yeah,
depression, and
yeah.
they see it on Facebook or they see it on social media sites,
Yeah.
and they refer themselves. They call up and say,
Definitely.
This is
How about
something I
over
can
in
do.
the Worcester? Then the old Worcester State Hospital is no more, but they have the whole new behavioral center. I don't know what. It's beautiful inside. Do they know about this over there? They know about this. Okay, this is good, because I think this is so important. Again, this is it. All you do is you go in and you put this little helmet. They put this on you. Not scary, right? And which is the front and which
The
is
front is where the Brainsway sign, yeah.
something like that.
There you go.
And then they just hook up a little gadget, and then you might hear some tapping, feel a little bit of maybe some gentle, nothing scary, nothing painful. In about 20 minutes, am I correct? About 20 minutes. Doesn't sound hard to me. And if you've got depression that badly, right, and you were thinking of ECT, what do they call it? Electroconvulsive therapy? That has always sounded extreme to me. This does not scare me. That does. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but to me it almost sounds barbaric. And maybe this is our next step from ECT away from that, to bring up our medical community. Do you think so?
Well, for some, yeah. I mean, as I said before, there's some things that can't be replaced. So ECT is really your only alternative. But for many people whose depression is just for whatever reason, not responding to the conventional treatments, and they've gone through medication after medication, and they're really starting to feel discouraged and hopeless. This is a really viable option and very successful.
Yeah.
You know, the data that was so impressive to me when I first was learning about Acheive was the chances of responding to medication trials go down and down with each one.
Yeah.
You know, so by the time you've tried 4 or 5 medicines, your chances of responding to a 5th or 6th medication are, 5% or less.
So if the Zoloft isn't working and you've gone through a ton of them, consider this.
Right. So with TMS, the response rate jumps to around 75%.
You see this all the time in your business, right?
Well, I do, and
How did you hear of it, Dr. Knapp? How did it come to you?
Well, I had heard about TMS before, just in articles and grand rounds and things like that. But a colleague of mine gave my name to Margie, and she contacted me to see if I wanted to be a referral source or if I might be interested in actually joining the team. And after thinking about it for a while and thinking about the number of patients that I had accumulated in my private practice over time that I just couldn't help. I really wasn't able to help the way I wanted to. I could provide support and kind of, help them function the best that they could with their depression.
Right.
I wasn't really able to move them forward in any significant way. The idea of being able to help that population really, really appealed to me.
And you're seeing them, they come out with a smile. Was it 5-week dedication?
It's so 5
days a week.
5 days a week for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then there's a taper period of about 3 weeks where you do 2 treatments a week to taper down. And the first patients, I started in Worcester, in the Worcester site, and the first patients were all my own.
Yeah.
I referred all of my own that I thought were the best candidates for this. And all of them responded. And some of them had been depressed for 15, 20 years with less and less benefit over time from therapy and medication. So to see those patients improve was really
It was amazing.
Really
Margie,
amazing to
you've
me.
seen it too, right? You've seen
Yes.
a lot of people improve. Do you refer people within your own company here?
I don't, but I my previous background is as a therapist and an inpatient psychiatric social worker. So I used to be the person working with the doctor to
Right.
treat patients and clients with depression. And so I've gotten to see it more from a little bit further perspective, but I've seen the improvements. I've seen the with patients even in the waiting room and seeing the improvements in how they're presenting and how they're looking.
Yeah.
I see what the responses are that our techs refer back to us and say, this is the improvement I'm seeing my patients making or this particular patient make. And so that's been really gratifying and really exciting to be part of,
Right.
witnessing that.
Sure. Now, where did this originate? Did it originate here in the States?
I think it originated in Israel, wasn't it? The
So-
DTMS was.
In where?
So the Brains Way company is based out of Israel.
Wow, okay.
And they started doing a lot of their work out in Europe.
Uh-huh.
And so in Europe, they use it for a lot of different indications.
Yeah.
They have a different system of approval than the FDA out in the United States.
Mhm.
So that's where, for this particular machine, it started.
All right, now before I want to make sure everybody knows again, we were just talking right then with Margie Pierce, and she is the operations director at TMS Acheive TMS East, and Dr. Rebecca Knapp, she's a psychiatrist with Acheive TMS East. Now, again, how can they reach you?
So they can reach us by calling us at 413-203-6922. We also have an 800 number, which is 877-385-8969. Or you can go to our website at www.achievetmseast.com. When you call in or your provider calls in, we will schedule a 30-minute free informational session where you come in, you can meet with one of our TMS technicians. They'll go over exactly what the process would entail. You'll get to see the machine. We'll gather some information from you and from your insurance. And then if you move forward, you would like to move forward and so forth, you would meet with our psychiatrist who will complete an evaluation. And if the psychiatrist approves you, we'll work with your insurance company to move you forward in the process of getting treatment.
So now, when the patient comes in, they've been approved by Dr. Knapp. It's not a scary operating room? You know, a nice little room, you just sit in there?
It's very
Can you watch
pleasant,
TV, or that's a no-no?
Yes.
You
No,
just
you-
have to sit there?
There's a TV screen in front of you. Some people watch their favorite Netflix
They do.
show or a moving art thing on
Can they
on the
read
TV.
during it, or is that
They can
not?
read. They
Really?
can play with their phone. They can be on
Oh.
the tablet.
So this is it again. This is the helmet. And if you're at the point where medicines aren't working and you were thinking of having electroconvulsive therapy, but you really don't want to try it, this is a great step. TMS East, Acheive, TMS East, I did the wrong direction. And it doesn't hurt. They put this on your head and you feel like, you described it as like little...
like a tapping sensation.
And it goes
Yeah.
to the, what part of the brain again?
It's the left prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is not functioning well when you're depressed.
The depression part. So when people come in, they have tried probably just about every antidepressant in the book.
Many of them have, yeah.
Yeah.
Some have, the insurance companies often require at least 4 medication failures.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
So some have had, 4, some have had 20. It really depends on the individual patient, but all of them have had difficulty recovering from depression and are looking for an alternative treatment.
What's that circle on the top of the helmet?
That's probably where it
That's where it attaches to the
yeah,
machine.
To the
Attaches to the machine.
machine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brain's Way, and it originated in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
How many years ago, do you know? Boy, where's it been hiding? There's so many people who could use this.
Yeah.
Really, so if somebody goes to see their psychiatrist in this area, how many of the doctors know already that this is an alternative to try? How do you get the word to them?
Well, as Margie said, we've got this great marketing team that is going out and offering in-services to educate people who are providing care in the community. So, and I'm finding that if someone is referred to us and they have a good response, those providers start referring a lot more
Word gets
people,
out.
and then word of mouth, people start saying, this treatment really helped me. They start letting other people know. Depression is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
I have a friend who's a
person or a family.
psychiatrist. I'm going to ask him if he knows about
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I think this is fantastic. Now you have Worcester, Westboro, Northampton. What are some of the others? Can you remember them all?
Sure.
Go for it, Margie.
Quincy and Plymouth, Leominster,
Yeah.
Northampton, Amherst, Springfield,
Oh.
Holyoke,
Okay.
and North Adams and Pittsfield.
How long? It took you only just over a year to get those all set up?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's been
That's a
moving quickly.
short work.
So our goal with Acheive, one of our primary goals is to make this accessible to people.
Yeah.
Because if you have to come in 5 days a week, you want to be able to get there. And if you're a depressed person who has to travel an hour every day for treatment, it may make you less likely to go forward with the treatment. So it's really important to us that we go into as many communities as possible so that it's accessible to people. And also we try to find locations that are on bus routes as well. So if people don't have, car transportation, they can take public transportation also to get to our sites.
Yeah, like in Worcester, we have, of course, all the buses. And if you live in Millbury, I believe you can still take an RTA bus over to Worcester. Unfortunately, they're thinking of cutting the Southbridge connection, which I hope they don't, and they're cutting down in Worcester. But don't worry about it. I think they're going to work things out. I'm certainly hoping so. I've got a son who lives in Worcester, and he depends on the bus system. God help me, he should get a license to drive a car. He'd rather do that or just walk. But now I had asked you if you thought you might go out further, like into Connecticut or something. Have you thought about that? Rhode Island,
There's been
Connecticut?
talk of that, and You've been working on a site in Portland, Maine.
Oh, I was born there. Very cool.
Yeah, we're looking in all different areas currently.
How did you all meet each other? I mean, we've got quite an audience here. We've got quite a team. We've got marketing. We've got everybody here. How did you all connect?
In all different ways. I mean, the founder of our company, Dr. Tom Bombardier, reached out to our other primary owner, Linda Rahm, and then the two of them sort of reached out to a few people, including myself and Anita Taylor, who I'm the director of operations, and Anita is the director of marketing.
Anita's right here in our audience, along with the marketing. What was your name again?
Andrew Pierce.
Andrew, he's here too. Yeah.
So then from there, we've sort of reached out and looked for people that we feel like are a good fit for what our mission is at Acheive, which is really to help as many people with depression as possible and do it in a way that is kind and that really is patient-centered.
Humanitarian, not scary. When the person goes in and they have the helmet on, can they have somebody with them? I mean, maybe they don't want to sit
Absolutely.
alone. You
Yes.
know? They can have someone with
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They often do.
And
in the
something
beginning.
that's really important to us as well that I'd like to speak to is that really we see ourselves as an adjunct treatment to therapy and medications. Many of the people we treat are in therapy and on medications, and we don't see ourselves as something that's going to cure people and make them not need meds or therapy. It's really something that we work in collaboration with providers in the community to help improve patient symptoms.
Wouldn't it have been great if we'd known about this? Well, our local state hospitals are basically gone now. Wouldn't it be great if, thinking back, if they had known about this and everything wasn't always ECT, like, that's it, you're going to have that. There was this alternative. But if you have this done, you can still stay on your meds, right?
Yes,
And go to
it's
therapy.
recommended. Yeah. When people come in, we try not to make any other major changes, and they stay on their medication.
So even though
For
you're
the
a
treatment.
psychiatrist, you're a doctor, it's okay if they're seeing another counselor and doctor
Yes.
on their meds, so you don't require that they stop seeing them.
No,
No.
we're really consultants.
Good.
And they get their care from people in the community, and they stay with those providers. So we do the treatment, and they continue to see their therapist or their
great.
medication doc.
That's great. What are the hours if somebody wants to come in?
So generally, that's another thing we really try to provide for patients, and being patient-centered is our hours generally range from anywhere from 6 in the morning till 8 at night.
That's amazing, because there's night owls and then there's the early birds. Great.
Right, and so we try to do, if people are working, so they could come in before work. We have sometimes patients who might come in on their lunch hour, or people who come in after work. And then we have hours during the day for people who want to come during the day and not be coming in
So
the
they
evening.
can have eaten beforehand, nothing to do with your own, and you walk out feeling just fine,
Yes.
perfectly normal.
Yes.
So there's nothing that says you can't eat for since midnight, and there's nothing that says you
No.
can't have had breakfast or even your lunch or whatever.
Right.
Right.
Which makes it really, really unscary.
Mm-hmm.
Really, if you're going to have surgery or even eye procedure, which I'm going to have, which to me is nuts, but they say 6 hours beforehand, a simple 10-minute cataract thing. What is it? Legal. Because if something went wrong and they had to knock you out, and if you've eaten, I'm like, because 6 hours to me is a long time, but this is amazing. How again can people reach you?
So our number is, phone number is 413-203-6922, or 1-800 number is 877-385-8969, or you can look on our website at www.achievetmseast.com. Please call us, and even if you come in for a 30-minute free informational session, you can make a choice to move forward with us or not. So we really encourage people who are thinking about it to come in and learn more and explore more.
Come in with your friend, your family member,
Absolutely.
with yourself.
Absolutely.
Even with yourself. And you don't have to do anything. You just come in and listen to them. They'll talk to you. This doesn't mean you have to stop your medication. You don't have to leave your doctor.
Right.
This is another choice, and welcome to the new world, right, guys? I mean, this is now, it's only 20 minutes long.
Each treatment is about 20 minutes long.
20 minutes long.
Right.
That's out of a day. It's pretty good.
Right.
How long before somebody it's all different probably before somebody really feels something positive.
Right. So it varies widely. Some people feel better within the first couple of treatments. Some people don't feel any significant difference until they get to maybe 15 or 20 treatments.
Yeah.
And some people are late responders and might not respond
But just
until...
hang in there and wait.
Right, and what we find often is that other people notice improvement before the person who's getting the TMS notices it, which is, we see that with medication responses as well, that sometimes the person getting the treatment is the last
They're the
to
last
really notice that they're getting better. But
That's
we'll
amazing.
see the rating scale starting to improve.
Yeah.
We'll notice subtle changes at first and then more major changes in the way they interact with us, the way they look.
You'll notice it before they may.
Right.
We've been talking with
Right.
Dr. Rebecca Knapp, and she is a psychiatrist with Acheive TMS East, and with Margie Pierce, who's the operations director over there. Margie, you're holding something. What have you got?
Well, I wanted to just speak. I know you asked a little bit about sort of how long TMS has been around, and we actually have something that you probably can't see there, but
You hold it, yeah, maybe, I think we can maybe zero in a little bit on
okay.
it.
But I mean, if you look at when TMS was sort of first kind of looked at was 1985. Our particular coil, which is actually what's in the helmet, was
Yeah.
developed by the National Institute of Health in 2000. And then TMS in general, the surface TMS was FDA cleared in 2008, and our particular helmet for deep TMS was FDA approved or cleared in 2013.
That's
So
not
I
that
just
long.
want to speak to the fact that that the idea of TMS sort of has been around for a while.
Yeah.
It's not a brand new concept,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of research being done, and it takes a lot to get FDA clearance.
Yeah, sure.
So I just wanted to speak to that because I didn't know that we really gave a full answer
We
on
have
that.
to wind it up. Guys, thanks so much. We should have you back on again because I think it's important to get, if you feel like driving all the way up again, but to get the word out about this. I had never heard of it till I had read about it. Again, if you have yourself a loved one, a friend who is just not doing well with their depression treatment, it's just not getting them over, and they might not want to yet, anyway, try ECT. Try this, TMS, the East, Acheive TMS East. All it is the simple helmet. It's not scary. Commit to 20 minutes a day. How many? 5 days a week. I think, boy, I'm telling you, if you're the gift of desperation, we call it, and if you really want to try, it can't harm a person, right?
Right.
No harm. It's been FDA approved, so contact them if you're interested. We'll see you next time and be my guest.